Throw it down, big man.
Welcome everybody back to the Throw It Down Big Fella podcast. I am your host, Greg Rufus. Thank you so much for continuing this experience with me and this wonderful podcast. I am so excited to be with you guys. Please, I'm begging you all, please subscribe to this wonderful Throw It Down Big Fella podcast. I need the subscriptions, y'all. It's getting up there, and I appreciate all those who have subscribed, who are subscribers to this podcast. Man, tell a friend that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows something about this wonderful podcast. Wonderful things are coming up in the future, you guys. We have guests coming on, NFL season, college football, which I'm gonna talk about on this episode. Things just coming up in the future, you guys. So be on the lookout for that. We're gonna be in the studio, my boy Fred's studio, new and enhanced. You're gonna see what it's gonna look like in a month coming up. Just wonderful things coming up. I just want you guys to experience this experience with me and show this podcast some love. On this episode, you guys, we're going to talk about college football being back. Well, technically it was last week, but there was one game. I'll mention that as well. But officially, for the rest of everybody else, college football season is here. Week 1, we'll get into all that. The University of Memphis Tigers, their game. UT, their game, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. We're going to get into all that. And fantasy football. I had 2 fantasy football drafts this past weekend. I have 2 more coming up this week. This is the last week, I feel like. This is the last week for all fantasy football stuff. For those who still have their drafts coming up, I'm going to give you my insights with who you should draft, who you shouldn't draft, who you should avoid, the boring players that win you the league, et cetera, et cetera. So that should be fun. Okay, let's get into it, you guys. First up, college football, like I said, is back full effect this weekend. I call this week, even though it's some marquee games, like you have the Clemson and Georgia game, you have the Texas A&M Notre Dame game, you have some marquee games, Colorado's game, with all the stuff going on with Colorado, Coach Prime, and all that. That should be exciting. But for the majority of the rest of the team games that's on this weekend, college football, I call it Jamboree Week. I call it Jamboree Week because there are just so many blowout opportunities for the marquee, the higher up college football teams. And they should blow out these teams. I mean, there's no disrespect to these teams, no disrespect to any of these college football teams, but you're there to collect a check. At the end of the day, you're there to collect a check. It is fun. It's good. Get the experience, all the freshmen and sophomore. This is a feel around moment. What's going on for college football this weekend. But like I said, University of Memphis, there's so much hype around this team. And I love it. I haven't seen this much hype on a University of Memphis football team in a very, very, very long time. They played North Alabama. Like I don't feel like I'm looking it up now. Like the spread is out. But if there was a spread, it'd probably be 20, 30. It's no disrespect to North Alabama, but I mean, you're going against a probably Seth Hennigan, who should be, I feel like, in the running for Heisman, for the Heisman this year. I just feel like North Alabama, no disrespect, you already started off on 1. You lost week 0 last week. This is the opportunity for Memphis. I mean, if you are who you say you are, in the great words of Herm Edwards, you should blow out North Alabama. It shouldn't even be close. It should be comfortable. Everybody should be playing. Seth Hennigan should probably play 1 half, 2, maybe a quarter. I don't know how bad it could be, but this is an opportunity for Memphis to get their feet wet, get it all out your system, but take care of business as well. And not just that. I mean, they played Troy the following Saturday, and then Florida State, which I'm gonna get to in a minute about how Florida State looked against Georgia Tech up in Dublin, Ireland. But just looking at Memphis' schedule, they played North Alabama, Troy, like I mentioned, Florida State. The Navy game is always, Stop the run. Just stop Navy's run, Memphis. Stop their run. MTSU, South Florida, North Texas, Charlotte, University of Texas San Antonio, Rice, UAB, Tulane. This has the potential outside of maybe Florida State and Navy. I mean, 9, 10 wins. I mean, they could be in a run for a playoff. They could honestly could go undefeated. If they go undefeated, they could be in the playoff. They should be in the playoffs. They go undefeated. You should have the Florida State case like, okay, they should be in the playoffs. But again, this always comes down to, well, who they play and blah, blah, blah. But if they go undefeated, they beat Florida State. Maybe Florida State's not that good like we think they are. I don't know. But if they can find a way to go undefeated, like I said, the University of Memphis Tigers should be in one of those 12 playoffs seedings. It's just it should happen. So it'd be interesting to see what the Memphis Tigers do, how they respond this year. But starting off, I mean, like you said, like I said, North Alabama, they should easily win that game. Also, I mentioned Clemson, Georgia, one of the games I'm looking at. UT, I mean, as always, UT is always heavily favored. They should always be in a discussion to be in the playoffs, have a good year. They should always be there. I mean, they start off with Chattanooga, no disrespect again, but the week after, a test right off the bat, and I like it. NC State, who's currently ranked 24th right now, neutral site. I apologize, but they should, if they win that game. And then I follow that up. Also, Kent State, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Florida. We know how tough the SEC is. It's the best conference in all of college football. Alabama, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Georgia, UTEP, Vanderbilt. Again, if Tennessee, if they can maybe 2 or 3 losses here and there, 9 and 10 wins, they also should be, if they're if they get just 1 or 2 losses, they also should be in the college football 12-team playoffs. Well, but that would be so much cool. Memphis and UT, 2 teams in the 12 playoff system. That would be amazing. Could it happen? Time will tell. But there's so much hype with Memphis and also UT. And I also want to shout out. I don't want to miss out on Ole Miss. Ole Miss. You know, I'm not the biggest Lane Kiffin fan. I'm really not. But the man can coach. He knows what he's doing. He's thoroughly there. Their offense is amazing. The receivers are amazing. I mean, they have to be there as well. I mean, Jason Dart, they have to be there. And looking at, of course, they play Furman first game, MTSU, Wake Forest. It's just you go down. Of course, they play LSU October 12th, Oklahoma. It gets a little, Georgia, of course, Florida, Mississippi State. So it gets a little tough going on starting in October, but moving the beginning of September. I mean, come on, like Ole Miss should be there as well. It just depends on what they do. It depends on if they can get the best out of everybody, offense, defense, special teams. So give them credit as well. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, my wife's alma mater, my friend Marcus Hunter, who I promise I will get him on this podcast to talk about that. Of course, it's 49ers as well. Mississippi State, they start off with East Kentucky, Arizona State. They go to Arizona State. That should be a fun trip for those guys. Toledo, Florida, Texas, Georgia, Texas A&M, Arkansas, UT, Mizzou. Also, I want to mention Mizzou. Mizzou has gotten a lot of hype and a lot of hype going on this year. Can they really? Are they really who they say they are? Are they really are? Like, I mean, Mizzou. Let's just see. I mean, I saw it with Florida State, how Florida State, and I was one of them. And I was one of those guys that, like, okay, Florida State, even though they lost their quarterback, even though they lost one game, I'm sorry, they should be in the playoff last year. Did not happen. I mean, I understand. Look, Alabama, they bring in the money. It's politics when it comes to it can't be politics no more now. It's a 12-man playoff system now. It can't be politics now. It's got to be, if you're one of the best 12 teams, you should be in the 12-team playoff system. Plain and simple. So it's not politics no more, and I'm glad it's from 4 to 12. I'm so glad. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Um, I mentioned at Florida State, they lost to Georgia Tech. They were 10.5 point favorite, ranked number 10 in the preseason. Can I get this off my chest, you guys? What is the purpose of a preseason top 25? What is the purpose? Like, what do we don't know how they what these teams look like. Like, I am trying to figure out, like, okay, how is Florida State ranked number 10? They got DJ, the quarterback now that was at Oregon State. I get that, but we don't know what this team looks like. It's I feel like sometimes it's more for the media purpose. People like me and people like ESPN, Fox Sports One, NBC Sports. It's for people like media to say, okay, well, they were ranked in the top 10 preseason, top 20. They should blow this team out. They should win the game. But it's like we don't know what they look like. There's no preseason play. It's just going off of practice. It's going off of what your eyes tell you, what your heart tells you. And what my eyes and my heart told me, Florida State was battling the whole game. Like, they had no footing in that entire game until like the fourth quarter when they finally took the lead. And then Georgia Tech just went down. They have fast running backs on their team. They were just taking their time, getting position where they wanted to go, and they did it. So it's like, okay, you did what you're supposed to do, but I don't believe the Florida. I just don't believe in preseason rankings at all. I'm a firm believer when they have the official rankings. I think that it's not BCS anymore. When they come up with the standings like in week 5 or 6, I forgot the timing of it. That's when I count. I don't really count it for the first month. I mean, that's just how it is in the NFL. It takes you 3 games, 4 games to figure out, okay, this team is good, this team is not. It's more patience in the NFL than it is college football. It's like, all right, you got to be good right now. You got to be just practice. You've been practicing against each other, no scrimmages and all. You got to be good right now. And I hate that so much for some of these 18 and 19-year-olds, but it's about media, and for this purpose, it's about politics. Like, you're supposed to be good. I don't know. Shoulder shrug. I don't know. I mean, so I wish they would get rid of the preseason top 25 and just, if they're going to do that, just wait till after the first game or second game, or just wait until officially when they have the standings out, college football standings out. Like I said, go off of that. I go off of that. I judge them because it's voters who are not from the media writers. They're former football players. They got their own thing going on. So I go off of that instead of, okay, preseason, this is how you look. Again, it's a biased thing. I might be the only one in this paddle boat or several others. But let me know in the chat, you guys. Do you feel like the preseason top 25 is a good thing, bad thing, or just a waste of time? Let me know what you think. But for Florida State, it's not the end of the world. I mean, if we were still in the only 4 teams in playoffs gets in, yeah, they're out. I mean, you can't lose to an unranked team. You're ranked top 10. You're out. I mean, but technically speaking, they're still in. They're still in. I mean, I have to probably pull up their schedule right now, but they play Boston College, I believe, um, Labor Day weekend. Um, they have to win out. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You got to win out, Florida State. Mark Dorvell, you got to win out. Like I said, I was on that mountaintop with you guys. You guys should have been in the playoffs last year. You should have been. Of course, you got to beat Clemson. You got to beat Miami. You got to beat North Carolina. You got Notre Dame. Huge, huge opportunity. So they can easily, after this loss, they got to beat the rest. They got to win out. They got to win out. And if they win out and they win the ACC, they got to be one of the 12. You got to, when it comes to whoever wins the ACC, American, well, I maybe not put the American. I don't know. I would put the American in as one of the best conferences in, but Big 10, Big 12 now, not no more Pac-12. This is the college realignment thing, but you gotta take care of business that's already there. You should have beat Georgia Tech. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, lived to fight another day. but it's a bad loss. But you guys, they can bounce back and do what they have to do, take care of business. So it'll be interesting to see how Florida State responds, and they got time. Like I said, Labor Day, prime time, ESPN, Boston College. Let's see what they do. I really did not. I mean, I saw a couple more highlights of Week Zero college football, but like I said, everything leads up to Saturday. Well, I'm sorry, Thursday. I'm sorry. Starts Thursday. Colorado. Like I said, I'm interested in that game. Also, Miami, Florida. Miami is only a 2.5 point favorite against Florida. Interesting. You know, some of these games, like I said, could be jamboree like blowout, blowout, blowout. But like I said, some of these games, these low key games, and that could be one of them that I just missed. Miami, Florida. That could also be a good game as well. So I hope you guys are ready, all college football fans. It's going to be a great, great weekend. I probably have to cut my grass. I don't know. I have to push it back. I have to actually work that day, so I'm not really ecstatic about that. But I really just want to sit back and watch all these games on Saturday. At some point, I will, and but this Saturday I can't. But to all those who are not or are lucky enough to watch college football Saturday, go ahead and watch it. It should be fun. Okay, you guys, let's talk about fantasy football. And the NFL season starts Thursday, September the 5th, where the Baltimore Ravens go to the defending champions home, the Kansas City Chiefs. That should be fun. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Rasheed Rice, all of them. Isaiah Pacheco. That should be fun on NBC. My Philadelphia Eagles play the day after on Peacock against Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love, and newly acquired Malik Willis. Malik Willis was such a way. One of my boys, I love him like a brother, Stanley. That Malik Willis was such waste and trash. If you didn't see that on the Sunday night game against Kansas City Chiefs, how trash he is, how horrible he is, I don't know what to tell you. But Malik Willis, I hope this could be a rally check for you. Like, you got to do better. You got to improve. You got to want to do better. And so we'll see. We'll see if he's about that life. He's about getting in the gym, working out, doing better, because Jordan Love is right there. I mean, unless you get better, you're gonna be holding that clipboard. That's gonna be a new job, holding that clipboard for Jordan Love. So we'll see how he responds to it. But fantasy football, you guys, I had two drafts this past weekend, one on Sleeper and one on Yahoo with my friend of the show, Chris Jones. I would love to have him on this show as well. I'm gonna try. Of course, I'm gonna get him. Of course, I'm gonna get my boy Chris. But so for those who still have their drafts coming up, I have two more actually. And yes, I'm a crazy guy. I got four fantasy football leagues. I'm crazy. I know. Call me. I had five. I'm narrowing it down, you guys. I had five last year. I got four this year. So it's I might be down to three, two. I don't know, but I love it. I love this time of year. I love fantasy football. So I'm gonna get into some of the guys that I like who have already drafted. So I'll get two guys I like. On two of my leagues that I've already gotten, I got one guy. I got a lot of them that I picked up, but one of them that I really really like is Jalen Daniels from Washington, quarterback there. Was at LSU, Heisman Award winner from past year. I really think the comparisons of him and Robert Griffin III are real. Like, there's no denying what Jalen Daniels can do to this Washington Commanders team. He is. I know it's limited highlights. You can only go off of what they do preseason, and it's not that much. But watching LSU, like I did last year, and like I said, watching limited plays from Jalen Daniels, I actually drafted him in my Christmas league, the Yahoo Fantasy Football League. I drafted him. Um, I think he has so much potential. I think he could be in the running for Rookie of the Year this year. It's going to be tough. You got Caleb Williams in Chicago. You got Marvin Harrison Jr. in Arizona. I think Bo Nix from the Denver Broncos is going to be good. It's just going to be tough. This is a good rookie class. I mean, you have potentially three starters, rookie quarterbacks who are going to be starting. Drake May. I believe Drake May. I think the injury to Jacoby Brissett, he might start. I think Jacoby was probably going to start, but Drake May. I know the saying is, well, the offensive line is bad. It's right. Do you really want him to start and play? You drafted him in the top 10. You gotta play. I think there's a rule of thumbtack. If you draft a quarterback top 10, he's gotta play. He's gotta play no matter what the situation is. The offensive line ain't great. You don't have any playmakers. Throw him out there. Let's see what he's about. If he's tough enough, if he's tough. It happened to Peyton Manning. It happens to, I think, Derek Carr. I think the scary thing is because what happened to Derek Carr and what happened to Ryan Leaf, you don't want that to happen to any of these quarterbacks. I get all that, but it's about the reps and it's about the reputation. And if I get the reps now and we're not that good of a team, it can improve me for the year next year, the year after next. It can improve me to physically and mentally get ready for, okay, it can only get better. It can't get worse. So I'm about that. Okay, let's just get it out there. Let me just be the best that I can be. I can't control what the offensive line does or defense does or special team does. I can only control what I can do, and let's just see. And so I'm like the fact that if you're a rookie, go ahead and play, get it all out now, and get better. And it can only make that individual stronger and better. So I'm in the presence of rookies playing. Let's go. Let's go. Um, like I said, I like Jalen McDaniels. I think he's going to be the real deal in Washington. Terry McLaurin. They got Austin Eckler, but I feel like Jalen's going to he's going to have the football in his hand 85% of the time. So I drafted him because of that, the excitement factor, the wow factor. That's why I drafted him. I also picked up a receiver. I picked up Brian Thomas from Jacksonville. I think he has the potential to be on the rise type of guy for Jacksonville Jaguars. They although they picked up Gabe Davis and they still got Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley left and went to Tennessee. Brian Thomas with Trevor Lawrence, who was people forget that the Jacksonville Jaguars were actually 8-3, and a lot of crazy ish happened for them to just fall off a roof. Like they were 8-3, they were looking like the third best team in AFC, and it just went away, injuries and all that. No excuse. It's just what it is. NFL. That's how it is. So you get Trevor Lawrence in. He's fast. He's a good LSU receiver. LSU receivers are amazing, by the way. FYI, they're just amazing. Um, you give me an LSU receiver, Odell Beckham. Think about all the great, like Jarvis Landry. Like there are great LSU receivers out there, and so you have another one, and Malik Neighbors as well. Even though I can't trust a lick from Daniel Jones, I still would go with Malik Neighbors, and he's on my sleeper league, sleeper fantasy football league. He has potential. Give him a slant. Give him like a receiver screen. Let's see what Malik Neighbors can do. And I'm excited to see him. And I'm also excited to see Brian Thomas. So those are my receivers that I'm excited about. I actually have a good running back class. Oh, woo, a really good running back class. This might be the best running back class I've ever drafted. I got Kenny Walker, and I also got Bryce Hall. Bryce Hall and Kenny Walker. Those two stud running backs. I've never had running backs like these in my entire life. I've always had good receivers. I've had a good quarterback. But for running back, I love it. I love it. My receivers aren't too bad. I got Chris Olivier, Mike Evans, just to mention Brian Thomas, Xavier Worthy. That's another one, Xavier Worthy. People worry about sizes of receivers. They're so small, but when they're quick and when they can get the ball in their hands, watch out. And Xavier Worthy is one of those guys. His fast, his quickness. Mahomes was like drooling over the fact, like, I got this guy, along with Kelsey, one of the best tight ends, and Rasheed Rice still there. Like, it's so amazing. So, those are a couple of guys that I would look out for fantasy football. By boring list, look, plain and simple, Mike Evans. I mean, he's gonna get whenever the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in the end zone or in the red zone. I'm sorry, Mike Evans, you gotta look for him. Even though sometimes he gets double teamed, Mike Evans, he's so big. Like you can't ignore the fact and I hope I'm getting his height right. 6'6", 6'7". Might be taller than that. I don't know. But he's just, you get Mike Evans the ball. Like, come on. Like, what are we doing? Find him the ball. And I think it's just, he's born. He's not flashy. He's going to give you 1,000 yards, maybe 10 touchdowns. He can win you again. He's going to probably win you the league. Like, keep it plain and simple. Other guys, Rasheed, and I'll go with his teammate, Rasheed White. A lot of people just, when there's no competition in running back, when you know like you're getting like not 80, 90% of the rock, there's no, you gotta if he's available, Rasheed right, go after him. I mean, I don't like when it's dual threat, like for the Tennessee Titans, you have Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears. Both of them have to get it 50-50. They got to get it 50-50. Even with the Chargers with J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, both of them, they're going to share the rock 50-50. Even though I feel like the Chargers are going to run down your throats now that they got Jim Harbaugh as their coach. He wants to run. Um, but I feel like when you split the reps with running backs, it's tough. It's tough to navigate. It's tough to digest. It's tough to figure out. But certain players that there's no competition. There's none unless they get hurt. Good Lord, Lord forbidden. But Rasheed White, you draft him, you can't go wrong with that. So those are some of my players that I would draft. And like I said, I got 2 more drafts coming up. I don't know what the order my draft order is, but of course, you can't go wrong with first round. I feel like you can't in the first round of any NFL fantasy football draft. Tyreek Hill, Bryce Hall, Bijan Robinson, CeeDee Lamb. Now they're saying that Christian McCaffrey thing is this injury serious. This is going to derail the 49ers. I'm not buying that for one penny. I'm just not. If I have opportunity to get Christian McCaffrey, I'm drafting Christian McCaffrey. No disrespect to the 4 names I just mentioned before, but if I have opportunity to get Christian McCaffrey, I'm getting Christian McCaffrey. There's just no ifs, ands, buts about it. He is clearly the best running back in the football league. Should have got the rock more in the Super Bowl. I'm gonna talk to my boy Marcus Hunter about that, but I'm drafting Christian McCaffrey. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Christian McCaffrey can't go wrong with that. Just don't want another rule I have. Just follow your heart and don't overthink it. If the best player is available out there, you go get it. I don't care what the ESPN says or fantasy football or Yahoo says. You're gonna finish 1-13 because you got Jalen Daniels as your quarterback, and you got like I said, Chris Olivier, Mike Evans, and Kenny Walker, and Bryce Hall. You're gonna finish 1-13. Those are just what they think. I always feel I feel more better about my team now. They say I'm gonna go 1-13. Actually, now I do. It's plenty of times I in fantasy football draft. Oh, you're expected to go first or second. I end up almost last. So to finish dead last in the Chris's Yahoo League, I believe I'm dead last almost. It feels great, and I feel even more confident about my team. But if you guys have any other suggestions, ideas of how a fantasy football team is supposed to work, or you want to give me some ideas and insights, please leave it out in the comment section. I would love to hear what you guys think. How do you feel about your fantasy football team? Is there any worries or concerns you have? Any questions that you might have? Please let me know. Please leave it on the comment section right here on the Throw It Down Big Fella podcast, and I would love to respond to it and just give you my insights and more about how it is. All right, you guys, that will conclude another episode of the Throw It Down Big Fella podcast. Like I said before in the beginning, please subscribe, like this page, just show us some love on Instagram at Throw It Down Big Fella Pod. I'm just excited. I'm just excited for you guys to be here with me. Enjoy the experience. Enjoy the ride. I love you guys very much. You will see, like I said, special guests coming up this year, football wise, basketball as well. I'm excited to see what this journey and chapter can bring into my life, into your life as well. And sky's the limit. And I just love you guys very much. And with that being said, I will see you guys next go around, my next episode. Now that college football's back, football is just around the corner. So I'm gonna give you my final thoughts and predictions on the NFL season and just getting ready for a wonderful, wonderful NFL/college football season, and maybe throw in some music and a little bit of politics as well. Just not all sports, you guys. I want to be diverse and be inclusive into anything and everything. So thank you guys very much. I will see you guys next time. Until then, I'm your host, Greg Rufus. See you next time. Until then, peace.
Throw it down, big man.